one fixture that I think that Man City are actually really likely to drop points on.
Aston Villa?
No.
Game. Shut up.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Secure the Bag OT. It's been a moment, and today's a relatively big day. We've got 3 competitions that are reaching their climax, that it's coming to the end of the road, winners to be revealed, and we're going to go through all 3, give our thoughts on how this is going to end, and give some hardcore predictions on how these competitions are going to unfold. Matt, you know, at the start of the season, maybe you thought your team would have been involved in all 3 competitions at this stage.
I did. I honestly did.
Not so good, Matt.
We are the defending, champions of Europe. We're currently knocked out of that. Thanks to Karim Benzema, not Real Madrid, Benzema as a whole, just him. Yeah. The rest, and that I would say that pass from Modric in the last game was class. Good pass. Yeah. The Premier League, I would have preferred us, to be a little bit more tighter to Liverpool and a little bit more tighter to Man City. But those 3 teams that I just mentioned, we have single digit losses, so I can't really complain too much. It's all the draws that we've had that's killed us. So I can't really complain too much about the Premier League as long as we hold that 3rd spot and we get Champions League football again next year. It's better than Man United.
Although you're playing terribly. So we'll
we've got a couple games left this season.
You only lose to Everton are a big club. They're like that's some really good form right now. Like nobody loses to nobody wins against Everton, Matt. They're a top team.
Everton, mate. Look, they haven't been relegated for 68 years. We're just trying to keep them up there a bit longer. Trying to get Leeds has a worse goal difference, so we're just trying to push them a little bit closer. So Leeds drops down.
No, you're right. Yeah. You bigger picture.
That's it.
So with that said, so Matt's team sucked in 2 competitions.
Stop the cap.
They were bad, but
what?
You've got one competition left.
Sorry?
You've got
Sorry,
one competition.
We didn't suck in 2 competitions.
Oh, I mean, you did though.
We underperformed to my expectations.
That's the form.
Yeah.
That's the form.
We didn't we underperformed, but we didn't suck. We're not Manchester United, all right?
No, of course. Everyone laugh at them. That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, even West Ham did better than Manchester United. They're in the Europa League semis.
Motivation, good lads, good vibes.
But there is one thing we still have a chance to win this year, and that is the FA Cup. Against our old foes from the Carabao Cup final about a month ago.
How'd that one end for you, Matt?
Memory's a bit hazy, Jackson. No, it's a bit hazy. Yeah, I do remember a nice little clash between Havertz and Alexander-Arnold. And then Rudiger and Milner got into it, and Harvey Elliott, and all the guys in the teams were getting together until the big man N'Golo Kante steps in and goes, "Monsieur referee, enough." And the referee stopped it straight away. I mean, you don't mess with Kante. You don't mess with him at all.
For those who don't know, he's a very little man.
Yes.
Heart of gold, but
he's
maybe not much.
I think he's 167 centimeters tall. So around about there.
But small man, but heart of gold. But I wouldn't pick him in a fight.
No.
But that being said, Matt, so this FA Cup game, this would make it a treble for Chelsea. Actually, this season. So with the Super Cup and the Club World Cup.
Yep, that's it.
So I'd say that would be an all right season, all things considered, with the sale going on and all the chaos that has caused with not being able to sign new contracts with players. But who needs to start that game, that final match? Who has to start for Chelsea to have any chance? And what do you have to take away from that Carabao Cup final loss, and who has to start this game?
Well, it's obvious Reece James got to start. Reece James he's got to be he's one of the backbones of our defensive line. Rudiger's got to be one of those centre backs. I know he's already verbally agreed to go to Real Madrid at the end of the season, but he's definitely got to be one of those centre backs. Kovacic has got to play if he's fit. If he's fit, without a doubt, Kovacic has got to play because he's that sort of spark in our midfield. He can change the game. I think him compared to Jorginho, Kovacic has a slight edge over him. It pains me as a Italian fan to admit this, and my Italian heritage. I don't want to admit it, but Kovacic, he explores the field. His passes are good. I mean, he's just all around good player. I reckon he's one of the best midfielders Chelsea has at the moment. And obviously we've got to have Mason Mount. But there is one person I do want to give a shout out to, because I have been decently impressed with him over the last, I'd say, about 3 weeks. Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I've been impressed with him. Yeah, I know you're giving me that face. Considering the injuries we've had, players being out, he's held his own in some positions he doesn't normally play. I think he did play right wing back for a little bit when Reece was still out injured as well. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying to start him or he's the essential guy. I'm just saying over the last couple of weeks, for some roles he's been put in, I don't think he's done such a bad job compared to some other performances he's had. So yeah, those are my guys for Chelsea that need to start. I mean, obviously you're not going to put Kepa in; it's going to be Mendy. So there's not even a question of that. But yeah, those are my guys. I got one from pretty much, or one or more than one from each area. One or two from defense, one in midfield, and one attacking.
So you wouldn't even consider doing what I'm pretty sure they did this in the Carabao Cup final, playing Kepa for the penalty potential.
I would consider that, because Kepa has had, I think it's the most amount of saves, like penalty saves for us. So in his time at Chelsea, he's got a pretty good penalty success rate from penalty shootouts. I would consider that, but if we're playing if I'm talking about 90 minutes, game finishes, someone is a winner at the end of that 90 minutes, it's Mendy. It's Mendy.
Yeah, I think that's the right call.
Yeah.
So that being said, okay, I think all those are pretty solid shouts. Now, I noticed that you didn't mention, I think we should talk more about the centre backs you have to pick for that game. Chelsea don't have to rest players at this point, realistically. They can let everything go in this game. But with Rudiger and Christensen being out of contract, do you start them anyway? Or do you assume that they might not be in the right mindset and you play maybe Aspi and Silva? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
See, the thing is, it's whether we decide to play 5 at the back and play a wing back system, or we decide to play 4 and have the 2 centre backs. Because if we're playing that wing back position, then you're definitely playing Aspi and you're definitely playing Thiago Silva there. Even though Thiago Silva's a bit older, he's still got his wisdom and his experience in as a centre back, playing for both his club teams and playing for Brazil as well. So he's got that experience. That third position though, I would have to take a gamble on one of those players. It would have to be one of those players, because I know that left wing back Chilwell's not right yet. He's out for the whole season, so you're gonna have to play a Marcus Alonso there. And if you don't play Rudiger, you don't play Christensen, you're relying on Malang Sarr. So I'm taking a risk on either Rudiger or Christensen, but it's more favourable to Rudiger.
I mean,
because I'm not starting Malang Sarr when you've got Salah, you've got Mane, and you've got Jota, and you've got Diaz and Firmino as well.
It's going to be horrible anyway, because, I mean, you mentioned like the leadership qualities of Thiago and his experience, but the fact is Aspi's also that. You've got 2 centre-backs out of 3 in that case that are not necessarily fast on the pace. Experience, sure, but they're the kind of players that you expect them to get caught out by the pace and the speed of that Liverpool front line. So there are concerns.
That's correct.
It would make sense actually to play. I mean, I don't know where they usually line up in a 3, but it'd almost be best to have Rudiger or Christensen in the middle, so he can try and cover and help on both sides, because having Thiago and Aspi concentrated on one side of your back 3, it just makes it a massive target, because there's no way Rudiger or Christensen can run all the way along to help.
I think from memory, the way they line up is Rudiger plays on that left side of the 3, and they sort of stack it a bit more to the right, where Reece James can sort of come back and cover whether Aspi or Thiago Silva's there. So I think they sort of do that. But it could also be an option of playing Rudiger in that middle and spreading them two out, because I don't think Christensen is fit to play, because I haven't seen him in many games recently, and I haven't heard much news about him. I've only heard about him leaving on a free and stuff like that towards the end of the season. So I haven't really heard about him playing. I haven't seen him play in a couple of months as well. So I don't know how fit he is to actually play.
No, absolutely. All right, yeah, okay. Which would mean very limited options, literally 3 and then Malang. So.
Yeah,
that's
and
not a
great actually, Trevor Chalobah. He slipped my mind.
I haven't
Trevor
heard
Chalobah
for a while, so it's true. He's been in the dark for a little bit. Not sure what that's about, but
I think it's
interesting to look into it.
Yeah, I think it's been maybe a couple injuries here and there, and I think just getting him beat to the starting positions from those 3 guys that I mentioned before. Because Tuchel doesn't really like to change his lineup that much. Let's be realistic.
No.
But yeah, I could see him giving Chalobah a shout as well in this game.
All right, fair enough. Well, that's your chance to talk about a competition that actually matters for Chelsea anymore. So we can crack straight into the other two. We'll save our final predictions for all the comps to the end.
No worries.
So for now, let's go to the Premier League results. I think we'll focus on the title race between Liverpool and Man City for this, because I know people might disagree. Personally, I think top 4 is finished. Like, I could be shown up for that. I could be completely wrong about that. I just think Arsenal will pull through. But...
See, I don't think top 4 is finished yet. I think top 4 will be finished after the North London derby, because the North London derby is yet to play. Yeah. Whoever wins that North London derby, I think will take that 4th spot.
But it's more that, think about, like, Tottenham have to play Liverpool.
Yes.
So even if like that North London derby goes Tottenham's way, if they lose to Liverpool and Arsenal win, that's a 5-point gap. And then you're talking 2 games left to overcome that deficit.
Yeah.
It's a tight one. I think Arsenal will get it done.
Yeah. Well, I can see it being the 1, 2, 3, 4 as it is now, but I wouldn't be shocked if Tottenham sneaks into that 4th spot.
Not impossible. I mean, we're not assuming that there's any other team that can do this, right? Though.
No.
We're there. No.
Man United's nowhere near making it. They've played 2 extra games compared to the rest of those guys in that 1 to 5 position as well, and they're on 58 points. They're 3 points behind Tottenham, and they're 3 points behind Tottenham and 5 points behind Arsenal as it stands at the moment. I mean, I honestly think, if it's Manchester United's perspective, they have more of a chance of dropping down to that 7th spot and West Ham overtaking them than making a challenge for top 5.
Our late form isn't great, but we'll see what we can do. So basically the main things are sorted at the bottom. Anything that happens at the bottom now will be just a meme about Man United being terrible. So All right, that leaves us then with our 2 top teams, and this is, I thought that, looking back, I was pretty sure that Liverpool were probably in danger, that they wouldn't be able to do it because they had to play, I'm pretty sure, Arsenal, Man United, Tottenham and Newcastle, all teams that were risks to say, and Everton. They had a Merseyside derby in the middle of that, a filthy game. I watched it live. Absolutely.
Yeah, I did as well, actually.
But now they've only got 4 left. They've halved the number of games they had to play, won them all along the way, drew the Man City, but everything else they won. And that leaves them only with Tottenham, Aston Villa, Southampton, and Wolves.
Yep.
Now, suddenly, if you compare that to Man City's remaining 4 games, Newcastle, Wolves, West Ham, and Aston Villa, they're relatively similar.
They are.
Honestly. I'd say Newcastle is about on form. Their form puts them similar to Tottenham.
Newcastle at the moment, as it stands, since 2022 has started, has been the 2nd hottest team in the Premier League.
Yeah,
they've got the 2nd most points since the start of 2022, and the only team that's got it more than them is Liverpool.
The actual teams they've had to face have been their wins have more recently have come from very they've had a good run of games, but
Mm.
I mean, their performance against Liverpool was admirable. So it can be said that Man City might have a tougher game here than they did against Wolves. Leeds at 4-0. That was definitely, I put $1 on that, and Leeds just disappointed me on all fronts.
Yeah, always bet against Leeds.
Always got to bet against Leeds.
Yeah. It's like the Dragons in the NRL. Just bet against the Dragons, and you're going to win.
Well, Matt, let me ask you then. We've got 8 matches here between Liverpool and Man City. Out of all 8 of those matches, 4 for Liverpool, 4 for Man City, do you see any games where one of these teams will drop points, Liverpool or Man City?
No.
So you think it's going to be a perfect run by both teams?
I think it's going to be a perfect run by both teams.
Now, you see, I actually disagree, because I think out of the 2 teams, out of those 8 games, there's one fixture that I think that Man City are actually really likely to drop points on.
Aston Villa?
No.
Not West
Wolves
Ham.
away.
When my second minions hours go to the O, mighty dollar in the O.
I was going to say not West
Ham.
Ham.
We're terrible, but Wolves away.
At
Now, we've
that could be
beaten
tough.
Man City earlier in the season, but our form was much better back then. So we actually, I'm trying to remember, we beat them in the cup, knocked them out of the Carabao Cup. So that, you know, other teams could have a chance, you know, weak teams like Chelsea and Liverpool.
How many fucking times do I have to tell you? I don't care.
Oh, please.
So we had to knock out both the Manchester clubs so anyone else could have a chance, which, remember, we did that, Anthony. You know, suck it. But
Mark
that
Noble.
Wolves game, that might be the game I really think, because it's their last away game. And I think Wolves have been in bad form for a while. They've lost 3 games on the bounce.
Yeah, so they're lost 4 of their last 5, and 3 on the trot.
This is the kind of game where you might see them pick up. Just like it would be, these sort of runs of form don't last forever, and you'd think this is the time now that they would try and get it done.
See, I'm the opposite of you. I think last away game, Pep's going to really want to go in there and solidify that last away game, because at home, City are pretty much unbeaten at home. They've got a great home record. So I reckon he's going to put a lot more emphasis on that last away game to get out there, get that win against Molineux. Because really, the Wolves, they're 8th, right? They're on 49 points, not far behind West Ham. But I don't really see their attacking prowess to sort of get the edge over Man City. I don't see them having 3 goals in them, 4 goals in them, especially when their defensive line probably isn't the best defensive line, and Man City have, you know, some firing attackers at the moment. Riyad Mahrez.
I mean, I'd say that I'm not talking about I wouldn't say it'd be a high scoring game, but I could see a 0-0 or a 1-0 win for Wolves. Doing it like the Everton game against Chelsea, just being a complete surprise.
Yeah, look, that was a shock to me as well.
Yeah,
Chelsea had
I mean, for me, that's the game. Otherwise, I agree with you. All of these games, like even the Tottenham one, Tottenham are playing all right. They're playing decently, but at Anfield, you just expect Liverpool to get it done, don't you?
Oh, for sure. Especially end of the season as well. Yeah. These teams know that if they drop a point, they've lost the league. They both know if they drop points in either of these last games, they kiss the trophy goodbye, because they know the other team's going to be good enough to not drop those points and get that win or get through or keep that 1 point buffer. So they both of these teams are going to be really riding hard on those last 4 games.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh well. That being said, I mean, our predictions for the Premier League might be a bit obvious from that chat, but we'll see as we go. What I think we should mention is finally the Champions League, another competition where you'll have to be a neutral for this one, Matt.
That's all right. You got to be neutral as well, so I don't mind.
This is fun. I get to enjoy a different European semi-final. I bet.
Oh yeah, one you're going to lose.
Well, at least I'm in a European semi-final this year.
Yeah, but we're still the reigning champions.
Yeah. Get over it, Matt. That was last year. Get over it. Join the rest of us plebs in not being champions. Get it done.
I mean, we still are champions until the 29th of May. So we're holding on to that until the 29th of May.
Yeah, that's exactly. You're holding on to it. Yeah,
Hey,
that's all you're doing.
We're the club's cup champions, aren't
You
we?
see, some
We're the
people
Super
give up
Cup
their,
champions.
some people give up their champions like trophy, like with dignity. They're like, oh, I've had a really good season, but we just couldn't win this a second year. No, I pass it on to my successor. We're still a great team. You're still a great team, best. Chelsea are just like, don't take my trophy from me. Don't do this.
Well, all I'm going to say is we'd be in the semi-final if it wasn't for Karim Benzema, and he's a hell of a player. He's a hell of a player.
Man City are going to win it, and it's going to be very sad. But that being said, I mean, this was recorded before we had the second legs of the semi-finals. Whether we get out in time is another matter. But as things stand, Villarreal, Man City, Real Madrid, Liverpool, as things stand, Man City and Liverpool go through. Do you think it's going to stay that way?
I don't know. I think Liverpool are locked to get through. Let's be realistic. They already got 2-0 aggregate against Villarreal. The other game, I could see it swinging either way. I mean, it's a 3-4 aggregate. Real Madrid being the 3, West Ham being the 4. So I could see it swinging. I mean, the aggregate was close, not as close in the Chelsea game. I think it was where after our first game we were down, was it 3-1? I think it was. Yeah, so it was a 2-goal difference, but still, Real Madrid have some goals in them, but you can't count out Man City as well, considering the form they're in. But I could, if we had to pick a game that we could see it swing from the favourites, I would pick this Real Madrid game.
Yeah, I think people have totally botched it on this. I think people are underestimating what Real Madrid can do.
Oh, for sure. I definitely reckon that.
The bookies have it at 5-1 for Real Madrid to get through that tie and get to the final, which is unreasonable odds because it's a 1-goal difference. I really think Real Madrid can do this,
and they've got a really good informed striker at the moment in Karim Benzema.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's very hard to say that they're out of it.
See, on a side note, I know this isn't directly related to this, but I'd honestly like to find out how the bookies make these odds because I'd be interested to see the intertwinements between we've got a 1-goal difference, but Real Man City's the favorite team. So how do the odds affect that? Like I would like to see that.
My reading of it was that while Real Madrid are outright, underdogs to actually get through the tie, the odds of getting a draw or a win in 90 are like high. But even when the odds of Real Madrid just winning that tie are better, what the bookies are saying is that they expect Real Madrid to win in the 90, but have the game still go through to extra time because it evens up.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they lose.
Okay.
They're assuming they're going to lose after 90. So even if they win, because the odds of winning are lower than if they won the tie, they're assuming that even if they win, it only gets them through to extra time and then they lose anyway.
Okay. Yeah. So basically the Chelsea situation against Real Madrid. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting though, absolutely. But so I mean, I'm going to say it's going to be a Liverpool Real Madrid final, actually.
Well, I was going to sound bland, but I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to agree with you. And talking about who would win it, I mean, we're going to get to that towards the end of the video. But yeah, that is a tough decision. Even Liverpool Man City is a tough decision.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough one, but I mean, for me, I think when you leave it to one game, when you don't finish off that tie more in the first leg, one game determines it all, and that's when someone like Karim Benzema just has a blast of a game. Like that's you've left it to chance, like to an one game performance.
Or Vinny Jr. coming down the wing, something like that.
It can be very rough for Man City, but we'll see. I mean, I do have something on Real Madrid to win the tie, so I might have a bias in this one, but I think I do. I've got like $30 to come through if I've got this right. But it'll be interesting to say the least. So that being said, we're coming to the end of our time, so we'll go through all three. So Matt, who wins the FA Cup final?
boys. Chelsea. Chelsea
Score?
wins the FA Cup final. Score for the FA Cup final. 2-1. 2-1.
2-1.
Yep.
Yeah, all right.
Yep.
I'm gonna Liverpool 3-0. Yeah. Liverpool 3-0.
Oh, that was quick.
They're going to tear them. They're going to tear
Nah.
them apart.
Nah.
What Rudiger did to Suarez, Liverpool are going to do to Chelsea. It's going to be a bad day.
Rudiger intimidates all of them.
Chelsea's going to be left on their ass.
Well, why are you laughing for? What, Chris? Why are you laughing for? Why are you laughing for?
Like that's what's going to happen.
We'll find out.
Liverpool are going to lift that trophy.
We'll find out. 15th of May.
All right. And that being said, so I'll go first then on the Premier League. I think Liverpool are going to win it. I think that Liverpool are going to win every single game they have left. And I think Man City will not lose, but they will draw a game. So I think Liverpool are going to win with 2 points. Actually, I think they would make it, what, a 1 point lead.
Mm-hmm. I am going to stick with the current top spot in the Premier League, Manchester City. I'm going to stick with them because, you know, Pep's a masterclass. His tactics, his ability to run that team. I like you said, you could see them possibly getting a draw against Wolves. I don't see it happen. I mean, there was that season where Pep had to win 18 straight or something to win the title. Yeah, I don't think they're dropping any more games. The only game they've dropped in recent times from memory was that draw against Liverpool. So I don't see them dropping a game.
Fair. All right, and that leaves us with the Champions League final, and which lead us away, Matt. How does a Liverpool Real Madrid final end?
Look, this is very biasly influenced by the fact that half of my family are Liverpool fans, and I'd rather not see them win the Champions League because, as Jackson would know, I won't hear the end of it in my house. So I'm going Real Madrid. I'm going Real Madrid.
Score?
I reckon Madrid will win in extra time.
Extra time. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
I reckon they'll win extra time.
Okay. Liverpool 2-0. Yeah, Liverpool 2-0. Yeah. I think that Liverpool, for me, when it comes to a final like this, they represent a bigger challenge than Man City or Chelsea did to Real Madrid. And I actually don't think Real Madrid are that good. I think they depend on individuals. And I think Liverpool are the antithesis of that. Like they are a team. That gegenpress is such a team effort. They don't play to individuals. They play as a unit. And I think in that Real Madrid just won't have.
Look, see, I agree with everything you said, but like I said before,
hey,
there's a lot of bias in this pick for me. There's a lot of bias.
Terrible journalism.
Please. You know what my dad would be like if Liverpool wins.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. I can't have that. I can't have that.
God damn. All right. Okay. Well, that wraps us up, everybody. We're going to call it there. So you'll have more videos from us as we go along, and we see whether we've got this right or not. Liverpool to win the Champions League. Liverpool to win the FA Cup.
Nah.
Liverpool to win the Premier League.
Nah.
Oh, I see a pattern developing actually in my predictions.
Look, and I see a pattern as well. You know, Chelsea win the FA Cup. Man City win the Premier League.
Real Madrid
to win the
Terrible journalism from both of us.
Either way, whichever one plays out, one of us is going to be right.
One of us is going to be right.
Yeah, one of us is going to be right.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in future vids. See ya.
A few moments later.
I was going to say, not
No, we're terrible, but...